segment, which is with Marianne Rowe. She's going to present on relating to personal and global transformation through deep time perspective. Now, Marianne Rowe is a founding teacher of the Monterey Bay Meditation Studio, an emergent dialogue facilitator, and a licensed marriage and family therapist in Pacific Grove, California. Her teaching, therapeutic work, and leadership focus on healing, transformation, and evolution through awareness and relationship. Her passions include inspiring reverence and reciprocity with Earth and universe, spiritual activism, and conscious relationship with all beings. Now, I've put a link in the chat of World Unity Week of this room. If you go to that link, you'll be able to access all the bios and all the information about the different events. So welcome, Marianne.
Thank you so much, Tex, for that lovely introduction and for the invitation to participate, to make an offering in this sense-making session of the Deep Time Perspective Convergence Space. And thank you, Tom, for that beautiful presencing meditation. I just really appreciate the invitation to center and to become aware of all of which we are part. So, to begin with the obvious, we are living in a time of epochal transition, a time in which our lives, our cultures, our planet, and even climate is undergoing systemic change. To reference the previous session in the Deep Time Convergence Room, it is most certainly in our face a time of peril and possibility and promise. The petri dish, which Tom referenced in the meditation, for all unimagined emergence to occur. Zach Stein describes our current circumstances in this way. There is a coming transformation of human existence in all areas, in the economic, political, governmental, cultural, and personality systems. We don't know yet what will need to be created to stop us from all dying as the old system runs down. We're in a period of chaos. The old forms of order no longer hold. The new forms of order have not yet emerged. We're at a moment when we can think about design parameters, about systems that would allow for emergence of new forms of order, a reworlding, if you will. That's why it feels like such a potent time, both dangerous and exciting. So I invite you to just pause for a moment and sit in the realization where we are situated in this extremely potent time. So today, I bring an offering of perspective, a way of being in relationship with this historic moment of cataclysm and creativity, a way of being that supports and cultivates an expanded and evolutionary view of what is happening. Jim Bindell, founder of the Deep Adaptation Perspective, writes, "Whatever you choose to do, I hope you give yourself time and space to listen for the psycho-spiritual invitation of our predicament, to reconcile yourself with impermanence, uncontrollability, and death, while letting yourself awaken from the deepest illusions of our culture, to act with passion for your truth and goal, while maintaining some equanimity about the outcome." So, deep time perspective is a context. It's It's a story that is big enough to hold the totality of all that we hold up close and personal. And it's an invitation to go beyond the obvious material structuring into a relational structuring, a structuring of belonging, a simultaneous awareness of the connection that arises in being impacted and in impacting. Deep time perspective is a combination of the knowledge gained from modern science and the wisdom gained in ancient spiritual teachings. It encompasses all people and all cultures because all are considered equally essential parts of the whole. There's no thing or no one that is outside universe. Deep time perspective is a pathway to the eye of the hurricane. And it's all about relationship. Our connection with universe and all its powers, patterns, and processes begins at an elemental level. We are part of and participants in this vast system of infinite potential. We are literally embedded in it. So I invite you to, for a moment, just let your imagination call into your consciousness nesting dolls, those dolls that go one into another. And imagine this is a set of nesting dolls in the shape of eggs. And on the smallest eggs, there is an image of human beings. And this egg is embedded in a little bit larger egg that is on which there's an image of the ecosystems and the living beings of the planet Earth. And then that egg is embedded in an egg with an image of this beautiful blue marble that we call Earth, that we call home. And that egg is embedded in an image of a solar system, these 9 planets, 5 of which have been aligned during this past week, right before dawn in the Northern Hemisphere, and orbiting, drawn by allurement to the star that we call the sun. And then this solar system egg is embedded in an egg of the Milky Way galaxy that is embedded in an egg of a vast and ever-evolving universe. All of these layers and layers join together, affecting each other and being affected. So on Wednesday, Sarmeet Kanwal told us the beginning of this story of how all of this came to be in his presentation, What Happened Before the Big Bang. So taking it up where Sarmeet left off, just going to take you on a little imaginary journey. So 13.8 billion years ago, there emerged from a tiny dot, a singularity, an expansion that contained the potentiality of all matter. And for the next few billion years, there was all kinds of chaos, gas and particles finding their way to a new order that included planets, stars, asteroids, and various objects floating in space and bumping into each other. Now, one of these objects, along with 8 other planets, was lured into an orbit of a particular star that we know as Sun. And this planet became known in English as Gaia, or Earth. The planet Earth went through some major changes that include morphing from molten lava to steam, to land, to water, ice. And life began to form. Between 5 and 7 million years ago, human beings emerged on the scene. So let's put all this together and sense into this matrix, this interbeing that started out from that tiny expansion into the vastness of the universe, this matrix in all its holonic glory. So you see, we are part of the universe. We are in this dynamic field of disintegration and reintegration, an endless adaptive system of interrelationship, an infinite dance of chaos and order, evolving as self-contained entities and part of a larger whole. So as you consider these facts, keep in mind that nothing new was added from the outside, because there is no outside the dynamic system known as universe. Everything emerged from the same source of hydrogen and helium that emerged from the great flaring forth, also known as the Big Bang. All is in each part, and each part is in all. I invite you to just sit with that koan for a moment. All is in each part, and each part is in all. It rearranges my molecules every time I do that. So I offer you an inquiry for consideration. What happens if we hold a sense of identity that is beyond being part of humanity, even beyond being part of Earth? What happens if we hold a sense of identity to being part of universe? What if we acknowledge that we and everybody and all else are integral and functioning parts of everything that is, has been, and is becoming? When we're aware of this big picture, this really big picture, how does that change our idea of ourselves? Just sitting here, imagining this, considering this possibility. How does that feel in your body, in your heart, in your mind in its largest sense? How does that change our idea of each other? As you look at these other manifestations of universe that are here on the screen. When we're aware of the really big picture, how does that change our relationship to what is happening? But wait, there's more. How does that change how we show up? How we show up in our relationships, with other human beings, in our relationships with bugs, in our relationship with the stars. It's all our kin, all kin. How does that change how we show up at home, when we're at work, when we're walking through town, seeing people and other beings that we don't know, but yet they're our kin? How does that change how we show up in our lives? From this point forward, how does that change? So each of these evolutionary events and this dynamic system, this coming to be where we are right now, right here in this moment, involved cataclysm, an unimaginable destruction of existing structures and life forms. And from this, new life forms were created and evolved and emerged. It was from the extinction of dinosaurs that warm-blooded mammalian species arose. So this process continues in this moment as stars explode in supernovas and disperse gas and minerals into space, which form new galaxies, new solar systems, and new planets. Thank you, Steve, for teaching me that. This process continues in this moment as Earth is involved in a global transformation of structures that are collapsing, species are disappearing, and atmospheric currents are changing. We are part of an infinitely evolving system of infinite potential. Brian Swim writes, "We're everywhere. We've become powerful. We are the planetary dynamic at this large scale level. So can we wake up to this fact and then reinvent ourselves at a level of knowledge and wisdom that is required?" That's the nature of our moment. Our power has gotten ahead of us, has gotten ahead of our consciousness. This is a challenge we've never faced before, to relearn to be human in a way that is actually enhancing to these other creatures. Can we find the resources to take this in and move with it? It's a challenge for the imagination. So with an inhalation, bring your energy and your attention back into your body. Again, noticing what it's like to be in your body right now. To begin to recognize yourself as an elemental part of this story that began billions of years ago. Recognizing and reconnecting with the energy of this planet of which we are part. Sensing yourself as being inside of the physical space of your home, office, or outdoors, wherever you are. And let yourself, once again, your eyes are closed, gently open your eyes, keeping your gaze soft, and reconnect with these other manifestations of universe that are here on this call. Looking through the screen as if you're looking through a window. We are not virtual. We are connected energetically. We're here together. We're here together in a collective field that is co-creating through the quality of our presence and in our engagement. So, earlier, I described deep time perspective as a pathway to the eye of the hurricane. I invite you to consider the principles of deep time perspective and notice what happens in your body, in your heart, and in your imagination. Principle 1, context. We are an integral part of a fast evolving universe. Principle 2, matrix. Universe is a relational system in which every aspect is influenced and influencing every other aspect. Principle 3, transformation, my favorite. We have the capacity to become conscious of our larger identification, and through science, meditation, and intersubjective practices, not to mention current circumstances, we are becoming conscious of living in a realm of interbeing. And principle 4, with this consciousness, we are beginning to recognize our agency and our responsibility that we are creating the future. When we are aware that we are already collaborating, then we can make a conscious choice to collaborate in service of supporting life in all its forms rather than destroying it. So in a few minutes, Steve Martin is going to lead us in an exploration of the type of leadership that is being called forth in this act of emergence. So I'd like to close with a reading from Terry Tempest Williams. I invite you to close and just let these words wash through in all of you. We are Earth unraveling and reforming creation. We are meant to engage, not isolate. These are difficult days. What causes us to recoil, strike, and retreat is also what allows us to reach out from the anxiety of unknowing and dare to trust what is to come. A reassembling of our humanity. Thank you.
Wonderful, Marianne. I like that you use the word equanimity, because to keep our calm, to keep our cool, and to pull in the resources, be aware and apply ourselves consciously. So there is hope. Thank you very much. I will pass it on directly to Hasina to introduce Steve, and we'll see if at the end we can interact a little with you. Okay, so thank you very much, Marianne.